Good morning, everybody. It is Friday morning, and it is a very special Friday morning because today is my birthday. And the fact that it's my birthday is my excuse for having wet hair, because I treated myself to a bubble bath first thing this morning before the kids needed breakfast. So apologies for the wet hair, but it's my birthday, so I can do what I want. Today we are reading from Acts chapter 8, verses 1 to 8. So let's get going. On that day, a great hello husband, you're downstairs. You've already said happy birthday. We'll start reading again when I can say persecution, because when you're 31, persecution's a hard word to say. On that day, a great persecution broke out against the church in Jerusalem, and all except the apostles were scattered throughout Judea and Samaria. Godly men buried Stephen and mourned deeply for him. But Saul began to destroy the church, going from house to house. He dragged off both men and women and put them in prison. Those who had been scattered preached the word wherever they went. Philip went down to a city in Samaria and proclaimed the Messiah there. When the crowds heard Philip and saw the signs he performed, they all paid close attention to what he said. For with shrieks impure spirits came out of many, and many who were paralyzed or lame were healed, so there was great joy in that city. So just a quick few verses really. But I think it's interesting, I hear a lot of people saying at the moment that we are going through a persecution as a church because we can't open. And whereas I can totally see what you're saying, if you are someone who says that, it's really not like the persecution that the early church experienced, and not like the persecution that so many of our brothers and sisters experience all across the world. You know, that beginning chunk, verses 1 to 3, talks about both men and women being dragged out of their homes, and being put in prison because of what they believed. You know, we're not suffering that, but there are Christians out there who are suffering that, and it's really important that we firstly learn about that, educate ourselves about that, but also pray about that. You know, prayer can do amazing things. There's very little me or you personally can do for brothers and sisters in prison across the country, or across the world, but we can pray about it, and that's really important. But then for us, you know, if you do feel like you're being persecuted because you can't come to church, if that is a real struggle for you, and it may not be that you feel the government is persecuting you, but it may just be that it's a real struggle for you. It's a struggle for me not to be able to fellowship with people in church in the same way. Let's look at what Philip did through that struggle. It says, those who were scattered, so it's not just Philip, those who had been scattered preached the word wherever they went. And I wonder how many of us are doing that. I wonder how many of us are thinking, do you know what, today I'm going to get up and I'm going to preach the word wherever I go. Because I think a lot of us are consumed with, oh my goodness, this is really hard. You know, I can't go to church, I can't see my family. I'm not even allowed to go walk down the street without people complaining that I'm out for a reason that I shouldn't be. And I think it's important for us to stop looking at that and to start looking about what we should be doing. You know, Philip, the other disciples, the apostles, they were being persecuted. They were literally being dragged out of their homes and killed. And yet they still spread the message wherever they went. And I think we need to kind of buck up our ideas a little bit. So yeah, that's me for this morning. I'm going to go enjoy the rest of my birthday. Have a great weekend.